Express. It's a Thursday morning. I don't know why I thought today was Friday, but apparently it's a Thursday. Maybe I'm just looking forward to the weekend, really. Yes, we've got a Rotus with us as always. The WhatsApp number to be a part of the conversation is 0809 444 981. You can also tweet at Smooth981. We're streaming live on YouTube, so you can catch that live stream up on our YouTube channel. Is Smooth 981 FM Lagos. Good morning, Rotus. Don't lose.
Good morning, Zibby. Yes, indeed, we are all winners. We can't lose at all and anything in life. We have to keep winning.
That's why you're wearing the T-shirt.
Exactly.
A message to the world.
Indeed.
Okay. So we're talking about transparency in the Nigerian fuel pricing situation. Can we dive in, Rotus?
Yeah. So if you look at fuel prices in dollar terms, even after the subsidies have been removed, we are, as if you take the 617 naira price in Abuja and divide it by, take 800 naira per dollar, you still get about 77 or 78 cents per liter. And when you compare that to Ghana, for instance, they're over $1. Gabon, over $1. Abidjan, that's in Cote d'Ivoire, they're over $1. So, multiplying, those guys are well over 800 naira per liter. So the thing is, people have been asking, how are we determining the prices? And so we kind of need to have some understanding of how the prices that we have currently for fuel, at least have an idea of how it is determined. If you're going to build a house, you want to know how much the cement and everything, you'll know everything that goes into building your home. Or if you get a plate of food that you eat, you're going to know, how much the ingredients cost that went into it. So I think it's only fair that, Nigerians should have an idea. And we used to, back in the day, have an idea of what makes up the pump price of fuel. Unless the importers tell us what the landing cost is, we don't have any idea. So kind of need some. So again, relative to our neighbors, we're still on the low side.
Okay. What about the minimum wage in these other countries compared to Nigeria?
Yeah, I keep getting this pushback every single time I mention other countries and what they're paying for fuel. You take Ghana, and I think Ghana's minimum wage was only just increased, I think in March of, was it this year? Or last year or so, a few years ago, to, I think it's 14 cedis per day. And if you take 20 working days per month, it comes out to about, I think it's like 60, 70 naira per CD. But when you, I was just looking at it, their minimum wage comes out to about 30. In fact, I think I was being generous. I think I did 30 working days instead of 20, and I came out to 30,000 or 31,000 naira. So they're just about a little higher than Nigeria's, but that was only recently because they just recently increased their minimum wage. We went from 18,000 naira to 30,000 years ago. So the average Ghanaian is poorer than the average Nigerian, right? We are a bigger economy. You can fit Ghana into Lagos. So Nigeria is larger than, we're just bigger, a bigger economy than our West African neighbors. So despite the fact that you've got us with a higher minimum wage than a Ghana or a Gabon, maybe even an Ivory Coast, they are still paying higher for fuel than we are. Now, I think there's also the fact that some of these countries, I think Ghana may have taxes. I know Kenya has taxes for sure. South Africa also has fuel taxes. So that also pushes up the price per liter of their fuel. We don't have any taxes. And I think that's another thing we need to consider for at least people that drive vehicles. I mean, if there's a way that you want to even out the whole matter of who pays what, we should probably consider that going forward. But then how you apply it versus somebody who comes with a little jerry can to buy fuel against somebody who comes in a large SUV. For instance, Godswill Akpabio, the new Senate president, he's got this video. I have to send it to you. It looks like the opening of a movie, and part of this is just him going to work. The video saying the new Senate president, he has a Mercedes, this massive, big luxury car, proudly displayed in his video. So somebody like him, when that car goes to the fuel pump to go, they should charge him like 2,000 naira per liter or 3,000 when he's buying fuel, so that he can subsidize fuel for the rest of us. So that's kind of thing. But then, the operational side of that would be a little tough. But all in all, yeah, we've got a higher minimum wage than some of these countries that pay more for fuel than us.
So what would transparency of fuel prices look like, really?
So we used to have the was it the Petroleum Pricing Products Regulatory Authority, I think the PPPRA, that used to put out a template. We used to know, landing costs, storage fees, movements, logistics, and so on. We used to have an idea of what these things cost. But, now the template has been scrapped. Of course, the Petroleum Industry Act has rid the country of, has rid the country of the PPPRA template. But we should still be able to get an idea of what that template has, so that at least we can know that, okay, this is what a rough idea of where fuel prices should be, instead of waking up like we did yesterday or the day before and noticing that fuel prices had just spiked. It was from the Daily Trust that broke the story. The Daily Trust broke the story, but their correspondents had been asking questions. So if not for them, people would just have seen fuel prices just rise and wouldn't have known. So that's we need communication and transparency. That's basically what we need.
Now, you've said you want the government to be straight with Nigerians on the fuel prices. In what other ways?
Yeah, so be open and tell Nigerians that, there's still room for the price to go up, because, at least in other climes, the regulator comes out, and we used to do that. I mean, when I remember, was it not 2016 or so, when they had that first recession under the Buhari administration, they proudly came out and said, oh, fuel is dropping, and they were going to start giving us updates on it. And so for a few months, they were telling us month to month what fuel prices would be. At that time, they were dropping. But now that they're going up, they don't really want to come out and say so. So transparency looks like this. Every month, you come out and say, dear Nigerians, fuel prices have been repriced upwards due to oil prices climbing. This is what it's going to be. And you give people notice so they can plan accordingly. They don't just jump up and start, rushing around to go and, fill up their cars and causing traffic here and there. So that's essentially what it's supposed to look like.
All right, thank you for that. The WhatsApp number is 0809 444 0981. You can let us know if you have any thoughts or questions. You can also tweet at smooth981. Gerard says, the Dangote refinery, any news about that?
Yeah, so
yes.
Well, they said that it would be, when did they say it was going to be operational? Later, I think it was next year, I think. Will be first or second quarter of next year, but we haven't really heard anything since that time. The commissioning took place and, all the pump and pageantry, but nothing since then. So I think there's still a ways to go before that. But we also need more modular refineries on a smaller scale. We've reached a point where we are so, obsessed with, what's it called? The Dangote refinery. We believe we're talking like it's the be all and end all of the downstream sector. It's not. I mean, United States has like 130 refineries. There are so many we have room for so many other refineries, right? So I was speaking to a player in the sector who told me that Nigeria's demand for fuel can accommodate 2 Dangote refineries, not just one. So there's, we're a large country, we're growing, and so there is room for us to have many more refineries. So no word yet, but some estimates are saying 2025 for the refinery to come on stream. So, we'll have to see.
All right, I've got some messages coming through. Oganel Chuko says Ghana has steady electric power supply, so small businesses are not actually affected, and they also use mass transit buses.
Just a quick pushback on that. Quick pushback. Accra has 24-hour electricity. Accra, the capital, much like But when you leave Accra and go out into some of the other rural areas in Ghana, it's not the case. So yeah, well done. I mean, the commercial capital does have steady power, but outside Accra, it's not the same thing.
Oh, seems like Ghana packaged nicely.
Oh well, they packaged very well. I mean, I have to give it to them. They've done a good job, but the outside of that commercial city, I mean, that's not really the case.
All right, Tayo says, what is the government doing about alternatives to fuels like gas? Solar energy is now crazy with the pricing.
That's the thing. See, compressed natural gas, there's been talk of converting cars to that, but then you now have to put this big gas cylinder in the trunk of your car, in the boot of your car. Just the thought of driving.
That doesn't seem safe,
around,
does it?
Gas scares me. I don't even like cooking with gas. I don't even, just the idea. There was a time I got distracted and I don't think it was my fault. I was watching television and I think my gas thing went off, and so it was still on, and I just freaked. Yeah, I freaked out. I turned it off, but it was only for like 5 minutes or so. But just it is, the question is correct though, because I understand it could be more cost effective. But a price shock could lead to gas climb. Remember when LPG, our cooking gas, spiked past 10,000 naira for a 12 kg cylinder and climbed even past that. I mean, it's come down since then, but those are prone to shocks as well. But yeah, you can convert, but there's going to be, I mean, I'm hearing to convert, it's like, is it 200,000 naira or 300,000 for a vehicle? It's a one-time thing you have to pay. Maybe over the long term, it is cheaper.
All right. Okay. We were almost out of time, but let's get this in. There was a viral moment on TV yesterday and involved the spokesperson for IPMAN. Could you quickly tell us about that? Yeah,
the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, their spokesperson was asked on the spot how much, the transparency thing, how much does it cost? How are you determining the price of fuel? So he now confessed that, okay, the landing cost is 565. That is just to land in Nigeria is 565. You haven't added other fees, and Lagos is 568. So are you telling me that there's only a 3 naira difference when you add up all the other fees to the landing cost? So when he was pressed on more details, he couldn't answer.
Interesting. Gilbert says it should be noted that in January 2004 there was an introduction of 1 naira 50 kobo tax per liter on petroleum products. But in my thinking, the tax is not the main crux. The big question is, will the increase in tax be people and development oriented? Will the average Nigerian feel the positive impacts? We're out of time. That's all the time that we have. Rotus, there's a message here. I'm going to forward that to you.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can look at that. Yeah, that's from Sunday to Chuku. All right, well, thank you for your messages. Thank you for listening. And of course, thank you, Rotus. Don't lose and have a brilliant day ahead.
Thanks, Zibby. I'll see you guys tomorrow.